Hello, and today we are here to talk about Jean Claude Van Damme. Van Damme was born Jean Claude Camille Francois van Varenberg on October 18, 1960. He was born in Brussels in Belgium, which is in Europe. His father is from Brussels and bilingual, and his mother is Flemish. He began martial arts at the age of 10, enrolled by his father in a Shotokan karate school. He eventually earned his black belt in karate at the age of 18. At the age of 15, Van Damme started his competitive karate career in Belgium. From 1976 to 1980, Van Damme compiled a record of 44 victories and 4 defeats in tournament and non-tournament semi-contact matches. Van Damme was a member of the Belgium karate team when it won the European Karate Championship on December 26, 1979 at La Coupe François Persoon's karate tournament in Brussels. During his early life, Van Damme sold flowers in restaurants and got a loan to open a gym to save some money before his move to the United States. In 1982, Van Damme and childhood friend Michel Kissine moved to the United States in the hope of working as actors. They did a variety of jobs to support themselves. Their first job working on a film as extras in the hip-hop dance film Breakin', made by Canon Films, they are seen dancing in the background at a dance demonstration. On May 2, 1986, Corey Yuen's martial arts film No Retreat, No Surrender premiered in Los Angeles. After the success of Bloodsport, Canon Films offered Van Damme the lead in Delta Force 2, American Ninja 3 or Cyborg, a cyberpunk martial arts film directed by Albert Pyun. Van Damme chose Cyborg, which premiered in 1989. The film was a low-budget box office success and led to 2 sequels, neither of which Van Damme appeared in. Canon used Van Damme again in Kickboxer, released that same year. It was highly successful, returning over $50 million on a $3 million budget. The film started the Kickboxer franchise. Van Damme did not appear in any of the film's 4 sequels, though he did return as a different character in the reboot series. Van Damme was launched into international stardom. Hollywood started to take notice of the star, and roles were being offered around the early 90s, starring in summer blockbusters like Universal Soldier and Time Cop. Van Damme was conquering the cinema. However, by the mid-1990s, the stress of the constant filming and promotion of his films, as Van Damme explains, led him to develop a cocaine habit, on which he spent up to $10,000 a week, and consuming up to 10 grams per day by 1996. He was arrested for driving under the influence in 1999. Things started to spiral for the megastar. Knowing full well that his heyday was over, Van Damme took any role that was offered to him in the late 90s to the early 2000s. Most of his movies went straight to video, and with the death of VHS and the revolution of DVD, Van Damme was making movies on a shoestring budget. He would just lend his stardom to sell the movie. Were they all bad movies? The movies were just forgettable. Each movie usually having the same cast members and filmed in Eastern Europe to try and keep the budget down. Many fans, including myself, stayed loyal to watching the next Van Damme movie. Other actors have suffered the same career blips. Sylvester Stallone was going the same with his career. Only reason he came back to Hollywood megastar was the fact he made sequels to his earlier works like Rocky and Rambo. Van Damme did not have the body of work that Stallone had to fall back on. With Stallone back on the map, he decided to make a movie called The Expendables. Van Damme refused the first movie, but after the success of it, he accepted a role in the sequel as the villain. Van Damme has been married 5 times to 4 different women. Until 1992, he was married to his 3rd wife, bodybuilder Gladys Portugues, with whom he has 2 children, Christopher and Bianca Bridget. He had begun an affair with actress Darcy Lapper, whom he married in February 1994. From this marriage, the couple has a son named Nicholas. That same year, he had an affair with his Street Fighter co-star Kylie Minogue during filming in Thailand. Lapierre, who was pregnant with their son at the time, did not become aware of the affair until Van Damme publicly admitted it in 2012. Van Damme had been in a decade-long relationship with model Elena Cavarina, though still married to Gladys Portugues. In 1997, Frank Dux, the martial artist whom Van Damme portrayed in Bloodsport, filed a lawsuit against Van Damme for $50,000 for co-writing and consultation work Dux did on the 1996 film The Quest. According to the lawsuit, Dux also accused Van Damme of lying to the public about his martial arts fight record, stating that when Dux tutored Van Damme while Van Damme was laying carpet for a living, Van Damme exhibited a lack of martial arts skills. Van Damme's lawyer, Martin Singer, responded, "There are records to document his martial arts acclaim. Why, just look at his movies, he didn't get those roles on his acting ability. He's the one who does those splits on chairs. He doesn't have a stuntman to do that." So to conclude, Van Damme will kick your ass. And remember, you can thank me later.